heat up considerably. You're going to be dealing along the coast with conditions that will be getting worse.
Gusty winds, perhaps over 50 miles per hour as this continues. Coastal flooding is going to likely be an issue.
And right now, Tropical Storm Isaias lashing out at Florida's east coast. Winds whipping up big waves, huge waves in fact, especially across the east central coast of Florida, and dropping heavy rain. Tropical storm warnings stretch for more than 600 miles from the Sunshine State all the way up into the Carolinas, and where this storm could drop more than 3 inches or more of rain into this week. Storm specialist Carl Parker will take us into the forecast in a few minutes. We're also going to check in live with meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, standing alongside the Treasure Coast. Welcome into our continuing live team coverage here of Tropical Storm Isaias. I'm meteorologist Chris Bruin. Thanks for joining us here on your Sunday afternoon. The winds, they're growing stronger. Rain bands heavier as Isaias moves closer to Florida's coast. Tropical storm force gusts already recorded, especially near Lake Worth and out across the pier into the more exposed areas. And beaches in Florida can expect more as Isaias charges up the eastern seaboard. This is what we know about this storm right now. Volusia County, Florida. This covers New Smyrna Beach and Daytona Beach, as well as Ormond Beach. Will open storm shelters today. Red flags are flying, and all swimming is banned in St. Johns County, which includes St. Augustine. And as South Carolina waits for this storm to arrive, the city of Charleston is putting in pumps in place in low-lying areas. So I want to get the latest here on Tropical Storm Isaias. We're heading to the lab now with storm specialist Carl Parker.
Well, I'll tell you, the hurricane hunters are out in the system right now, and they did just find some surface winds of 72 miles per hour, so we may be looking at some slight strengthening of this storm. Now officially a 65 mile per hour tropical storm and moving north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Expected to skirt the coast of Florida today, but then come right into the Carolinas, and that's going to be late tomorrow, so significant coastal impacts there, along with very heavy rain up into North Carolina, Virginia, and on up into the northeast as well. We're going to have more on that coming up in a moment. So the hurricane warnings have been dropped in Florida. Tropical storm warnings in effect. You look at the satellite, you see this big burst of thunderstorms, and that's a pretty mean-looking satellite image. But as we discussed yesterday, most of the weather associated with the system is now offshore. The circulation is right along the coast, but all that stronger wind and heavy rain is offshore, and it's likely going to be that way as it moves up and along the coast. So we're getting winds now gusting to 28, 31 miles per hour, Stewart and Vero Beach, and that's the kind of thing that we're going to see, with the exception of these showers that roll in as these bands come in. Occasionally we'll be looking at some stronger winds. With those winds could easily gust to 40, 50 miles per hour as those roll in. So that's going to be one of the things to watch for, along with that elevated surf. Looking at the max wind potential, we're thinking that it's probably going to be topping out most likely at strong tropical force in the easternmost parts of Florida. And as we discussed yesterday, because we're not getting as much impact, because that storm is not as well formed, the storm surge potential is also down here along the east coast of Florida, now to about 1, 2, 3 feet. So let's take a look at the forecast model, doing, I think, a really good job of depicting what's going on right now. And again, you've got the circulation that is basically onshore, but because the storm is oriented the way that it is there's a mid-level center that is displaced from the low-level center, and that's where the weather is, and it's mostly offshore, and it's going to remain mostly offshore. Where we see some occasional bands coming in, very gusty winds, certainly elevated surf, and we'll see some water level rise. And then the storm is going to be out over the open water, and that's going to be overnight tonight and going into Monday. And as that happens, and it gets over the very warm waters of the Gulf Stream, it may actually intensify some at that point, and it's going to be coming directly into South Carolina and North Carolina. So we expect to see more significant impacts in the Carolinas, and we're going to talk more about that coming up here in just a few moments. Let's get out to Reynolds Wolf right now. He's in Vero Beach, and Reynolds, very angry sea out there, but that pier behind you is shrugging it off.